Hey coin collectors and history buffs. Welcome back to the channel named Numisma Hub Top 8. First up, your go-to place for rare finds, deep dives, and untold stories of U.S. coinage. Today, we're diving into a penny that might just be hiding in your change jar, one with a long history and often misunderstood value. The 1955 D-Wheat penny. Is it rare? Is it valuable? What makes it so interesting? Grab your loupe and let's uncover the secrets of this copper classic. The Lincoln Wheat Cent, introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, marked the first time a U.S. president was featured on circulating coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin replaced the Indian head cent and included two wheat stalks in the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and American agriculture. From 1909 to 1958, these Wheaties were struck in copper and bore a simple, iconic design. The obverse featured Lincoln's portrait, and the reverse displayed the words 1 cent flanked by wheat ears with E pluribus unum overhead. The coin went through subtle variations, different mint marks, and major historical events, including both world wars and the Great Depression, giving each year's issue its own story. Now, let's zoom in on 1955. The U.S. economy was booming post-World War II. Coin production was up, and in that year, the Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark, was especially busy. The Denver Mint produced over 563 million Lincoln cents in 1955, a staggering number. That high mintage means 1955. D pennies aren't especially rare in terms of availability, but despite their quantity, they still fascinate collectors. Why? Two words: condition and context. Also, 1955 is famous in numismatic circles for the Philadelphia Mint's 1955 double die penny, a striking and rare minting error. While that variety came from Philadelphia and lacks a mint mark, it often causes confusion and fuels interest in all 1955 issues, including the Denver ones. Let's clarify something that confuses many collectors. The 1955 D is not the famous double die. That highly collectible coin with visibly doubled inscriptions is from Philadelphia. The 1955 D has no major recognized double die varieties. So if you find a 1955 D penny and think you've struck gold, check first. Is there a D under the date? If so, it's from Denver and not the rare double die. Still, that doesn't make it worthless. There are nuances to condition, errors, and varieties that can make even a common coin interesting. Narrator. The 1950s were a time of intense coin production. The Denver Mint, though efficient, wasn't immune to minor striking issues. That's why you'll see some 1955 D-cents with slightly off-center strikes, weak details, or die cracks. Quality control standards were decent, but not perfect. Overused dies, worn-out planchets, and metal impurities sometimes slip through the cracks, literally. These flaws, while minor, can add character and occasionally value, depending on severity and uniqueness. Narrator. While the 1955 D doesn't have a dramatic double die, there are still varieties and errors that collectors look for. Here are a few. Sometimes the D was punched more than once during the minting process. These repunch mint marks can be faint or obvious, and some varieties are cataloged and sought after. Cracks on the die can create raised lines on the coin. These are usually minor, but some form interesting patterns like BI errors between the B and E in Liberty. Rare but possible. If a coin is struck while off-center, part of the design may be missing. The more dramatic the shift, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, the higher the potential value. Narrator. As with all coins, condition is king. Collectors and grading services use a 70-point scale. A well-worn 1955 D penny might score VG very good, 8, or F fine, 12. But a mint state coin, especially an MS65 red or better, can fetch significantly more. There are 3 general color grades for copper coins. Brown BN. Most circulated coins fall here. Red-brown RB. Some original luster remains. Red RD. Vibrant uncirculated look. An MS65 red 1955. D can sell for $20 or $40 or more if perfectly struck. The key is eye appeal, sharp strike, bright red color, and minimal marks. Narrator, let's talk dollars and cents. While circulated 1955, D wheat pennies are worth around 2 to 10 cents. Uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS-65 and up, can go for much more. Here are some recent auction trends. MS-63 brown, $5, 10. MS-64 red brown, $15. MS-65 red, $35, $50. MS-66 red, over $100 in some cases. Coins with RPM varieties or dramatic die breaks may fetch premium prices, particularly if certified by PCGS or NGC. But remember, value isn't just about money. It's also about history, artistry, and the joy of the hunt. Fake 1955. D pennies are rare, but mistakes happen. Sometimes, altered coins are passed off as rare errors. Always inspect a mint mark. It should match authentic examples and not look glued, retooled, or scratched in. Also, avoid clean coins. Harsh cleaning leaves scratches or an unnatural shine, killing value. If your penny looks suspiciously shiny but lacks luster, it's probably been cleaned. Original patina, even if dark, is more desirable to collectors. Looking to build a wheat penny set? The 1955 D is a must-have. Here's how to include it. Date and mint set. Collect 1 cent from each year and mint. Condition set. Show coins in various grades. Good to mint state. Variety set. Include RPMs and errors. Use coin flips, tubes, or archival quality albums to protect your collection. Avoid PVC holders, as they can damage the copper over time. Narrator. So, what makes the 1955 D wheat penny worth talking about? It's not the rarest or most valuable, but it sits at a fascinating crossroads. High mintage history, era variety potential, and numismatic confusion. It reminds us that not every treasure is flashy. Some hide in plain sight. It's the kind of coin that gets you into collecting and keeps you coming back, flipping through rolls, and hunting for that next surprise. If you got a 1955 D wheat penny in your collection, take a closer look. Who knows, you might find a hidden gem. Bonus tip for sticking around. Want to hunt 1955 DS efficiently? Get a few rolls of pre-1982 cents from a bank or coin dealer. They're mostly copper, and you might just uncover a beauty hiding among them. Next up, explore the fascinating world of coin collecting, numismatic history, and the hidden stories behind everyday pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1957 wheat penny. Whether you're a new collector or a seasoned enthusiast, this episode is packed with rich history, hidden details, and insider tips on mint marks, values, and rare varieties. So grab your magnifying glass and let's get started. Before we zoom into the 1957 wheat penny specifically, let's rewind a bit to understand where this coin came from and why it holds such a beloved place in American coinage. The wheat penny, officially known as a Lincoln cent, was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. This was the first time a real person and a former U.S. president appeared on a circulating American coin. The design was the brainchild of sculptor Victor David Brenner, who engraved Lincoln's profile on the obverse and 2 stalks of durum wheat on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural heritage. This design lasted from 1909 to 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. The wheat penny era, then, marks nearly 5 decades of numismatic history, and among these, the 1957 issues remain extremely popular due to their historical context and accessibility. Let's take a snapshot of America in 1957. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president, Elvis Presley topped the charts, and the Cold War was heating up. It was also the year the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, kicking off the space race. In this environment of change and tension, the U.S. Mint continued producing coins as symbols of stability and national pride. The 1957 wheat penny was part of this effort, a tiny but important piece of American life. Narrator. The 1957 wheat penny came in 2 major mint mark varieties. The 1957 no mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, and the 1957 D, struck in Denver. Let's break them down. Composition: 95% copper, 5% tin, and zinc. Weight: 3.11 grams. Diameter, 19 millimeters. Edge, plain. Designer, Victor David Brenner. Mintage, over 1.3 billion combined from both mints. The 1957 coin was never struck in San Francisco, as the mint had stopped producing cents in 1955. Okay, so what exactly is a mint mark? Simply put, it's a small letter on the coin indicating where it was made. On wheat pennies, you'll find a mint mark just below the date on the obverse. Philadelphia was the primary mint and did not include a mint mark at the time, while Denver used a D symbol. Both the 1957 and 1957 D wheat pennies are common, but there are some cool distinctions and varieties collectors look out for. Let's talk money, because after all, that's part of the fun. Were these 1957 pennies actually worth? Circulated coins. 1957, no mint mark 3 to 10 cents. 1957 D, 3 to 10 cents. Uncirculated MS 60 to MS 65. 1957, 25 cents to $5. 1957 D, 20 cents to $4. These can fetch $20 to $100 plus, depending on quality and market demand. Narrator. But here's the key. Condition is everything. A brilliant red, uncirculated 1957, decent graded MS 67 plus by PCGS could easily sell for over $1,000 at auction. Grading tips. BN equals brown, most common. RB equals red-brown, intermediate value. RD equals full red, most valuable for wheat pennies. Now this is where things get really exciting. Error coins. These are mint mistakes that make some coins extremely rare and valuable. Let's explore known errors in 1957 wheat cents. Common errors. Double die obverse. DDO look for doubling in the date and liberty. BI error. A die crack between the B and E in liberty, creating what looks like the letter I. Off-center strikes can range from 5% to 90% off-center. The more dramatic, the more valuable. Repunched mint marks. RPM, especially in the 1957 D variety. Look for secondary impressions of a D. Narrator. Some of these errors are worth hundreds of dollars, depending on condition. So if you come across a 1957 penny that looks a little weird, don't spend it. As wheat pennies grow in value, unfortunately so do the counterfeits. Here's how to avoid getting fooled. Tips to spot fakes. Weight the coin. Authentic weighs 3.11 grams. Inspect the font and spacing. Fake coins often have odd proportions. Use a magnet. Real wheat pennies are not magnetic. Compare with certified examples from PCGS or in GC Online. Want to find a 1957 wheat penny of your own? Here are some tips. Coin rolls from banks. Try roll hunting with penny rolls. Flea markets and estate sales. Great for bulk finds. Online auctions. eBay, Heritage, great collections. Coin shows. Meet dealers and compare prices. Local coin shops. Ask for bulk wheat pennies or specific years. Many people still find wheat pennies in pocket change, though it's becoming increasingly rare. So, why should you care about 1957 wheat pennies? They're affordable entry points for new collectors. They're rich in history, the last full year before the Memorial Reverse. There's potential for valuable finds, especially in high grade or with errors. They connect you to a broader community of collectors and historians. Found some 1957 wheat pennies? Great. Now let's keep them safe. Storage tips. Use 2x2 holders or plastic flips. Avoid PVC sleeves. They can damage copper over time. Store in a dry, cool place. Handle with cotton gloves or by the edges. Narrator. Remember, improper storage can reduce the value of even the rarest finds. A few more fun facts before we wrap up. 1957 was the second to last year for wheat pennies. Over 1 billion 1957 D pennies were struck, one of the highest in wheat cent history. Some 1957 D RPMs have up to 3 visible impressions of a D mint mark. Collectors sometimes assemble year sets, one from every mint in each year. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the 1957 wheat penny. From mint marks to values, errors to history. We hope you've learned something new and exciting today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin collecting content, and drop a comment below. Do you have any 1957 wheat pennies in your collection? Let us know what you found.
Next up today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1939 Lincoln wheat penny, one of the most fascinating coins for collectors of U.S. currency. What makes the 1939 penny so special? What are the mint marks to look out for? And could one of these little copper coins be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Stick around to find out. The Lincoln wheat penny, also known simply as the wheat cent, was first issued in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, a bold and controversial move at the time. By 1939, the United States was beginning to emerge from the Great Depression, and though World War II hadn't reached American soil, tensions were rising globally. That year, Franklin D. Roosevelt was in his second term as president, and the country was slowly recovering thanks to New Deal programs and economic reforms. Against this backdrop, the 1939 Lincoln wheat cent rolled out of the U.S. Mint, keeping Victor D. Brenner's iconic design Lincoln on the obverse and two stylized wheat stalks on the reverse. The 1939 Lincoln wheat penny design remained unchanged from previous years. On the front, we have the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. To the left is the word liberty, and to the right, the date, 1939. Above his head, "In God We Trust." Flip it over, and you'll find the two wheat ears flanking the phrase, 1 cent with the United States of America. Just below, at the top, the timeless Latin motto, E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that classic reddish-brown appearance. Each coin has a diameter of 19 millimeters and weighs 3.11 grams. Narrator. Now let's talk mint marks. In 1939, Lincoln wheat cents were minted at 3 facilities. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. Denver, mint marked with a small D. San Francisco, mint marked with an S. Here are the mintage figures for each. 1939 Philadelphia, 316,466,000 coins. 1939D Denver, 15,160,000 coins. 1939S San Francisco, 52,070,000 coins. As you can see, the Philadelphia Mint produced the overwhelming majority, over 316 million coins. The Denver Mint, on the other hand, only minted just over 15 million, making the 1939D the lowest mintage of the three, and the most desirable for collectors. Narrator. When collecting wheat pennies, condition is everything. The same coin can range in value from a few cents to several $100s, depending on its grade. Coin grading typically follows these levels. Good G4, heavy wear, details worn almost flat. Fine F12, moderate wear, major features fine EF40, light wear on high points about uncirculated AU50, slight traces of wear. Mint state, MS6070, no wear, may have minor contact marks, for example, A1939D penny in good condition might fetch only $1 $3, but an MS65 red, that means uncirculated, with full original color, it could be worth $200 to $500 or more. This is where things get exciting. Some 1939 wheat pennies come with mint errors or rare die varieties that skyrocket their value. Here are some known and sought-after varieties. Double die obverse, DDO. Some 1939 Philadelphia pennies show doubling in the date or liberty. If you spot one, it could be worth hundreds. Repunched, mint marks RPM. Some 1939D and 1939 show evidence of the mint mark being stamped more than once. These are often subtle, so look carefully with a magnifier. Off-center strikes. Coins not properly aligned in the press. If the design is off-center but still shows the date and mint mark, these can be valuable. Die cracks or cuds, breaks in the die can create raised lines or blobs on the coin. These errors vary in value based on size and location. Always examine your coins under strong light and magnification. You might have a gem hiding in plain sight. Let's break down the current market values. According to recent sales a 1939, in MS66 red has sold for over $600 at auction. A1939S in MS65 red fetches about $150, $250. Depending on eye appeal, a 1939 Philadelphia DDO in mint state can reach $500, $1,000. Depending on grade and demand. Keep in mind, coin prices fluctuate based on demand, rarity, and metal content. A sharp-looking coin in a high grade will always outperform its worn-out counterpart. You can check values on trusted sites like PCGS, NGC, and auction platforms like Heritage Auctions or eBay. Found a 1939 wheat penny in great condition. Awesome, now let's make sure it stays that way. Here are some tips for storage. Use 2x2 cardboard flips or plastic coin capsules. Keep coins in a cool, dry place. Avoid humidity. Avoid touching coins directly. Always use cotton gloves or hold by the edges. Label your coins clearly to keep track of mintage condition and value. Proper storage isn't just about preservation, it helps retain and even increase your coin's value over time. Thinking of starting or completing your 1939 wheat penny set? Here's what we recommend. Start with circulated coins to build your collection. Affordably upgrade over time. Look for higher grades as your budget allows you as a grading guide, or get coins professionally graded by NGC or PCGS. Join a coin club or online forum. You'll learn a lot from fellow collectors. Be patient, the hunt is half the fun. Whether you're in it for the history, the art, or the investment, collecting wheat pennies can be incredibly rewarding. Narrator. So there you have it. Everything you need to know about the 1939 wheat penny and its mint marks. From its humble origins during the recovery from the Great Depression, to rare varieties and high-grade examples fetching serious money. This little coin has a big story. Do you have a 1939 wheat penny in your collection? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into coin history. Next up today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of 1945 wheat pennies, a year packed with history, mystery, and valuable mint marks. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, this video will uncover everything you need to know about the 1945 1-cent wheat penny. From production to values, mint marks to wartime history, you won't want to miss this. The year 1945 marked the end of World War II. America was transitioning from wartime to peacetime, and the effects of the war could be seen in everything, including our coinage. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, had been in circulation since 1909, and by 1945, it was still going strong. But here's the kicker. Coin production in 1945 was heavily influenced by wartime economics. Copper was still a critical material for war production, although by 1945, the famous steel cent experiment of 1943 had already passed. The US Mint had resumed copper usage, but the alloy used in pennies was slightly different due to ongoing resource management. Narrator. So, what exactly is a 1945 wheat penny? Let's break it down. Obra's front features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The date 1945 is located on the right, and if there's a mint mark, it'll be just below the date. Reverse back shows 2 wheat ears, hence the name wheat penny. You'll also see the phrases 1 cent and United States of America, along with E pluribus unum at the top. Metal composition, 95% copper, 5% zinc. Weight, 3.11 grams. Diameter, 19.05 millimeters. Now let's talk mint marks, because that's where things start to get really interesting. There were 3 types of 1945 wheat pennies produced, each identified by its mint mark. Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. The most common version, over 1 billion coins, struck no letter under the date. Denver Mint, D. Mint mark, around 266 million minted. Look for the small d under the year. San Francisco Mint, S mint mark, about 181 million, struck a small s under the year. Even though all 3 are relatively common, certain conditions and errors can make them highly collectible. And that brings us to, now let's get into the juicy stuff, errors and varieties. This is where even a 1-cent coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Here are the most notable ones. Repunched mint marks. RPMs, especially common in the Denver and San Francisco mints. RPMs occur when the mint mark was punched more than once into the die, often at a slightly different angle. Collectors pay a premium for these. Some go for $20, $100 depending on grade and visibility. Doubled dies. These are extremely rare for 1945, but always be on the lookout. If the lettering or numbers look doubled, you may have a gem. Off-center strikes, coins that weren't perfectly aligned during striking. 5 to 10% off-center might bring in $10, $30.50% or more. You could be looking at $100 plus. Die cracks and cuds result from worn or damaged dies. These varieties are gaining popularity. Value depends on size and location of the era. Always check your change, and that old jar of pennies might be sitting on a hidden treasure. Alright, let's talk money. How much are these coins actually worth today? Mint mark circulated, GVF uncirculated. MS60, MS65, special varieties. No mint. Philadelphia $0, 05 menos $0. Vinci cinco $1, $1 RPM $20 plus. D mint Denver 5 cents, 35 cents, $2 $15, RPM $25, $1 US, mint San Francisco 10 cents, 40 cents, $2, $20 RPM $30, $150. Of course, certified coins from top grading companies like PCGS or NGC can bring significantly more. Narrator, condition is king. Let's quickly go over grading basics. Good G, major details worn flat. Low value. Very fine VF. Lincoln's hair shows some detail. Still circulated. Mint state MS. No signs of wear. Luster intact. These fetch the highest prices. TIP use a 10x loupe or magnifying glass to inspect for details and mint mark variations. Always keep your wheat pennies in a dry, cool place, ideally in a coin album or a certified holder. PVC-free holders are best to prevent long-term damage. You might ask, why collect 1945 wheat pennies when they're so common? Great question. Here's why. Historical significance. 1945 marked the end of World War II. These coins are a tangible piece of that moment in history. Accessibility. They're affordable for beginners and still offer opportunities for valuable finds. Educational value. Learning to grade, identify errors, and spot fakes builds real numismatic skills. High-grade examples and error coins continue to rise in value as collectors increase. And let's be honest, they just look awesome. Here are some cool tidbits you might not know about the 1945 wheat penny if melted. Each penny would only be worth about 2 cents in coppers, so they're actually worth more as collectibles. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion of these pennies, making it one of the most produced coins of its time. Some 1945 pennies have turned a deep chocolate brown due to oxidation. While not rare, the color tone can impact collector preference. The small handful of 1945 pennies were accidentally struck on foreign planchets. Check the weight if anything seems odd. To wrap things up, while the 1945 wheat penny might seem like an everyday coin, its history, variety, and hidden value make it a fascinating addition to any collection. Whether you're chasing mint errors or assembling a complete set, these humble cents tell the story of a nation at a crossroads, emerging from war, ready for peace, and leaving behind a legacy in copper. Always check your change, visit your local coin shops, and maybe even raid your grandparents' penny jars. Never know what you might find. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1945 wheat penny, smash that like button. Subscribe for more numismatic content, and drop a comment letting us know your coolest coin find. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your pennies always shine bright. Next up, where we dive into the rich and fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures. In today's episode, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most iconic coins from America's past, the 1942 Lincoln wheat cent. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your collection, this is one video you don't want to miss. We'll talk about mint marks, values, errors, and what makes this wartime penny so special. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dig in. The year is 1942. World War II is raging overseas. The United States has officially entered the war after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in December 1941. With much of the nation's resources diverted to support the war effort, even the smallest things like coins were affected. But before the steel pennies of 1943 came into play, 1942 still featured the classic 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc composition we associate with earlier wheat cents. This would be one of the final years this composition was used before the switch to steel in 1943 due to copper shortages. The Lincoln cent itself was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features a bust of Lincoln facing right, while the reverse, at least up to 1958, includes the familiar wheat ears framing the words 1 cent in United States of America, with the Latin motto E pluribus unum at the top. In 1942, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of these pennies, but not all of them were created equal. Section 2. Mint marks and mintage 2, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, approximately 400 words in 1942. The Lincoln wheat cent was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. Each mint had a different mintage total, which can impact a coin's value depending on rarity and condition. Let's break it down. 1942 Philadelphia, no mint mark mintage, approximately 657,796,000. These were the most common of the 1942 wheat pennies. Being from the main mint, they have no mint mark under the date. Despite the high mintage, some high-grade uncirculated examples or error coins can be valuable. 1942D. Denver mintage, around 206,698,000. These coins have a small D mint mark, just under the year. Denver cents are more scarce than the Philadelphia version, but still relatively common in circulated grades. 1942S San Francisco mintage, approximately 85,590,000, with the lowest mintage of the 3. The S mint mark under the date makes this version slightly more desirable among collectors. In uncirculated grades, these coins can fetch a solid premium. These 3 mint marks, or lack thereof, play a big role in determining the desirability and value of a 1942 penny. Section 3. Design details, 6 o'clock to 8:30, approximately 300 words. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1942 wheat penny obverse front. The portrait of President Abraham Lincoln faces to the right. Above his head, you'll see, "In God We Trust," a motto that first appeared on the 2-cent coin in 1864. To the left, Libertito, the right, the year 1942. with or without a mint mark underneath depending on where it was struck. Reverse back to stalks of wheat curve around the words 1 cent at United States of America at the top. The Latin phrase e pluribus unum means out of many. 1. Victor David Brenner's initials VDB were initially placed on the reverse in 1909, but due to public backlash, they were quickly removed. They returned in 1918, but this time, much more subtly on the front of the coin. Under Lincoln's shoulder, the wheat reverse would eventually be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday. Now, here's where things get really interesting for collectors' varieties and errors. While most 1942 wheat pennies are common, certain minting mistakes can make your coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Here are some key varieties and errors to look out for. Doubled die or verse DDO. A doubled die results when the design is doubled on the die itself. When coins are struck, they appear with noticeable doubling, especially on the date and lettering. Look for doubling on "In God We Trust." Liberty and the date 1942. Off-center strikes. These happen when the coin isn't properly centered during minting. If the date is still visible and the off-center strike is dramatic, such coins can fetch good money. B. Arrow die break between B and E in Liberty. This small die crack forms a B between the B and E of Liberty. Not super rare, but still collectible, especially for those who enjoy die break varieties. Clipped planchette for coin blank was improperly cut. You may see a curved clip taken out of the edge of the penny. Lamination errors. These occur when a layer of the metal flakes off due to impurities in the planchette. Always examine your coins closely with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Some of these errors may be subtle to the naked eye, but can significantly increase a penny's value. 1230 value depends on 3 main factors: mint, mark, condition, and whether the coin has any errors or varieties. Here's a rough guide to 1942 wheat penny values by mint and grade. 1942 no mint mark Philadelphia, circulated good to fine, 5 cents to $0. To 5 extremely fine XF, 50 cents. To $1 uncirculated MS62 MS65, $2 $2.10 red, MS65 plus, up to $50 or more. 1942D Denver circulated 10 cents. $2 $0.35 extremely fine, 75 cents to $2 uncirculated MS60 plus $3 to $1.15 red gems, $50 $100 plus 19 for 2S San Francisco circulated, 15 cents to $0, 40 XF to a U $1 to $2, 50 Ms minus 60 plus $5 to $20 brilliant red. MS65, $75 $150 error coins and double dies can command hundreds, sometimes even over $1,000 depending on severity and condition. Grading tips. Use a magnifier to check for scratches. Luster and sharpness of design. Third-party grading companies like PCGS or NGC can help authenticate and assign a professional grade to high-value coins, whether you're selling, buying, or just holding for the future. Knowing your coin's grade is essential for determining its true market value. Want to add a 1942 penny to your collection? Here are some tips to help you make smart decisions. Check bulk lots. Online auction sites and estate sales often sell bulk wheat penny lots. You might find a valuable 1942 variant hidden among them. Buy from reputable dealers, especially if you're investing in higher grade specimens or errors. Buy from dealers with solid reputations or certifications. Use a coin album or holder. Proper storage keeps coins safe from oxidation and handling damage. Use acid-free cardboard flips, plastic holders, or albums made for wheat cents. Look for error coins in change. You'd be surprised how many wheat cents, including 1942s, still show up in circulation or pocket change. Always check your coins. Network with other collectors, join coin clubs, Facebook groups, or online forums. You'll learn more and maybe even trade for the exact coin you need. Collecting wheat pennies is an affordable and fun way to enjoy American history, and the 1942 penny is a perfect example of that legacy. To sum it all up, the 1942 Lincoln wheat penny may be common in circulated grades, but its historical significance, wide range of mint marks, and collectible era varieties make it a must-have for any coin collector, whether you're looking for an affordable entry point into numismatics or hunting for that rare era gem. 1942 has something for everyone. Remember to always check for mint marks, inspect for doubling or other errors, and store your coins properly. Who knows? That old penny in your change jar might just be worth more than you think. Drop a comment below if you found a 1942 penny or if you have a favorite wheat cent year. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, happy collecting, and may your pockets always jingle with treasures. Next up, where history meets the hobby of coin collecting. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1958 D Lincoln wheat cent coin that's not only rich in copper but also in American history. Whether you're a beginner, collector, or a seasoned numismatist, this penny might just surprise you with its story, rarity, and value. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's uncover the secrets behind the final year of the wheat cent era. Before we explore the 1958D in detail, we need to understand its roots. The Lincoln wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. The reverse side displayed to wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity, and hence, it was nicknamed the wheat penny. This design lasted until 1958, making that year's minting historically significant. It marked the end of an era. Let's take a step back into the year 1958. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president. The Cold War was heating up. NASA was newly founded. Elvis Presley ruled the airwaves. And America was on the cusp of major social changes. In the world of coins, 1958 was the last hurrah for the wheat reverse, as the U.S. Mint prepared to replace it with the Lincoln Memorial. Designed starting in 1959. This transition was more than just a design change. It reflected the nation's evolving identity. The D Mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, which struck a massive 800,953,000 of these coins. That's nearly 801 million pennies, an astronomical number. Let's break it down by features. Obverse: Abraham Lincoln's bust facing right, "In God We Trust," inscribed above Liberty on the left, the year 1958 with the D Mint mark just below it on the right. Reverse: classic wheat stalks, 1 cent, and United States of America in bold "E pluribus unum" at the top. Despite its high mintage, the 1958D is still a favorite among collectors because of its historical significance. It's the last wheat penny ever minted, and the Denver Mint produced more than Philadelphia that year. Fun fact: there are no 1958s wheat cents, as the San Francisco Mint had ceased penny production in 1955. One of the most intriguing aspects of 1958 Lincoln cents is the double die obverse, or DD, although it only applies to the 1958 Philadelphia issue, and not the Denver D Mint. The 1958 DDO is one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cent errors in existence, with fewer than 5 known specimens. However, no genuine 1958 DDDOs have ever been confirmed by major grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Still, rumors persist, and many collectors keep an eye out for strange doubling on the D Mint mark, though most end up being machine doubling, not the true hub doubling that defines valuable era coins. When it comes to value, condition is king. The coin grading scale, developed by Dr. William Sheldon, ranges from poor P1 to perfect mint state MS70 for the 1958D. Here's a rough guide. Circulated good to very fine, 1 to 10 cents extremely fine XF, 10 to 25 cents AU, about uncirculated, 25 to 50. CENTS MS62 MS63 uncirculated, 50 cents $2 Ms -64 to MS66 red high grade, $3 to $20 MS67 RD and up premium grade, $50 to over $300 plus highest recorded sale. In 2022, A1958 degraded MS67 Road by PCGS sold for $336 at auction. While it's not a fortune, it's impressive for a coin once worth only a penny. Want to find a 1958D worth keeping or even submitting for grading? Here are a few tips. Luster: a brilliant original red color is most desirable. No contact marks. Fewer scratches or dings equals higher grade. Sharp strike: clear details on Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks. No carbon spots. These black marks reduce eye appeal and value. Full mint red. Most valuable are road designations not brown, BN, or red-brown, RB. Try this. Use a 10x jeweler's loupe and inspect the details under strong light. Even tiny imperfections matter when it comes to top-tier grading. Here's how to take care of your 1958D wheat cents and build a great collection. Use archival quality flips or 2x2 cardboard holders. Store them in a climate-controlled environment to prevent toning or corrosion. Avoid touching the coin's surface, hold by the edges only. For coins in MS condition, consider professional grading with PCGs or NGC. Use a red book, a guidebook of United States coins to track values. Pro tip: assemble a complete Lincoln wheat set from 1909 to 1958. It's one of the most satisfying goals in U.S. coin collecting. And the 1958D is your official finale. With coin collecting becoming more popular, counterfeits have entered the market. While the 1958D isn't a common target for fakes, doctored coins and added mint marks do pop up occasionally. Red flags: altered 1958 Philly coins with a fake D added, artificially colored coins claiming to be red eBay listings. With vague photos and suspicious prices, always buy from reputable dealers. And if in doubt, request a certificate of authenticity or third-party grading. The 1958D wheat penny may not be ultra-rare, but its historical and emotional value runs deep. It's the final chapter in a 50-year coin legacy that began with Lincoln's portrait and ended just before the space age. Until next time, keep searching. Next up, where we bring history to life one coin at a time. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic small denomination coins in U.S. history, the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny. From mint marks to varieties, eras to values, We're covering it all in this 3,000-word deep dive. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's explore the world of copper cents and hidden treasures. Let's rewind a little before we get into the specifics of the 1940 cent. The Lincoln Wheat penny was first minted in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, an absolute game-changer in coin design. Victor David Brenner, the designer, placed his initials, VDB, on the reverse of the coin, leading to controversy and quick changes early on. This penny features Lincoln on the obverse and two stylized wheat stalks on the reverse, hence the nickname Wheat Penny. Wheat Penny. This design was used until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Now let's talk 1940. The world was on the brink of major change. World War II was intensifying overseas, and the United States was recovering from the Great Depression. But even during turbulent times, minting continued. In 1940, 3 mints struck Lincoln Wheat pennies: Philadelphia Mint, No Mint; Mark Denver Mint, D Mint; Mark San Francisco Mint, S Mint Mark. Combined, over 781 million pennies were minted that year. That's a lot of copper, but not all 1940 pennies are created equal. Stick around to find out which ones could be worth far more than just 1 cent. First up is the Philadelphia minted 1940 wheat penny, which comes with no mint mark. With a whopping 586,810,000 coins minted, it's by far the most common of the three. On-screen close-up of a 1940 no mint mark penny, both obverse and reverse. These coins were struck in bronze, which was a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Each coin weighs about 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. Look for this. Sharp details in Lincoln's hair, clean rims, and strong wheat stalks on the reverse. Value range: circulated 5 cents to 50 cents, uncirculated MS60 M65, $2 to $10. Top grade gem, MS67 Plus, can reach $100, $200 or more depending on eye appeal and toning. Next, we head to the Denver Mint, where the 1940D wheat penny was born. The D Mint mark appears just below the date. In 1940, Denver struck 81,390,000 of these coins, far less than Philadelphia's total, but still a sizable number. These coins have a similar composition and weight, but tend to be a bit tougher to find in top-notch condition. Value range: circulated 10 cents to $1, uncirculated MS60 MS65, $3 to $12. High mint state MS67 Plus, $150, depending on eye appeal. Tip: Denver pennies often exhibit better strikes than their San Francisco counterparts, so many collectors target high-grade 1940Ds 4 type sets. Now we go west to the San Francisco Mint, home of the 1940S wheat penny. These coins are identified by the tiny S Mint mark under the date. On screen, zoom in on Mint mark. San Francisco produced 112,940,000 pennies in 1940, making it the second highest mintage that year. Value range: circulated 10 cents to 75 cents, uncirculated MS60 MS65, $3 to $15. High mint state MS67 Plus, $200 plus. For well-struck examples, watch for. Weak strikes are common, so finding well-struck S-mint coins can be a rewarding challenge. Let's get to the exciting part: varieties and errors. This is where the real treasure hunt begins. While the 1940 wheat penny isn't known for a ton of dramatic varieties, a few die errors and doubled dies are out there. Key varieties to look for: 1940 doubled die obverse DDO. Look for doubling in the word liberty, the date, or in God we trust. These are scarce but valuable. In uncirculated grades, values can range from $100 to over $1,000 depending on clarity of the doubling. Off-center strikes: if the strike is significantly off, especially by 10% or more, you may have a valuable error. Values: $50 to $300 depending on severity and condition. Clipped planchettes: part of the coin is missing due to an error in the blanking process. Smaller clips: $10, $30. Larger or crescent clips, up to $100 plus. Die cracks: cuts not as valuable, but fun to find. Small cracks or raised areas caused by damaged dies. Value $5 to $25 depending on prominence. Wondering what condition your 1940 penny is in? Let's break down some basic grading tips. Good G4. Lincoln's features are worn, and wheat stalks are almost flat. Very fine VF20. More detail visible in Lincoln's hair and the wheat. Extremely fine EF40. Slight wear. Strong detail. About uncirculated AU50. Just a hint of wear on high points. Mint state MS60 Plus. No wear, possibly minor bag marks. Pro tip: use a 5x to 10x magnifier and compare your coin to graded examples online or in coin books. Whether you're keeping them for your collection or investment, protecting your pennies is a must. Use these storage tips. Coin flips for budget protection: 2x2. Cardboard holders with staples. Plastic coin tubes for bulk storage. Add free albums for organized viewing. Avoid PVC-based plastics that can damage coins over time. Bonus tip: store in a cool, dry place and avoid touching coins with bare hands. Oils and moisture are a coin's worst enemy. Let's answer the million-dollar question, or rather, the few-dollar question, on 1940 pennies rare. Short answer, not really, at least not in circulated condition. But that doesn't mean they're worthless. Uncirculated and high-grade specimens, especially those with errors or full red luster, can be valuable and desirable to collectors, and if you find a double die or a major error, you've hit the jackpot. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the 1940 wheat penny. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned numismatist, there's always more to discover in a single cent. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more coin collecting content every week. Got a 1940 penny in your collection? Let us know in the comments what mint mark you have and if you've found any cool varieties.